Welcome back to Laughing in the Dark, the podcast where I hang out in haunted places with comedians. I'm your host, Sarah Jones. This is another fixture in our Minisode series where I get the chance to talk to you about your ghost stories. For this Minisode, I got to speak to Kat about a haunted restaurant that she visited in Pennsylvania. Here's the Minisode. Take a listen. Hi, is this Kat?
Yes, it is.
Hi, Kat. This is Sarah calling from Laughing in the Dark.
Oh, hi, Sarah.
Hi, how are you?
Splendid. How are you doing out there in California, is it?
Yes, I'm in California. I'm good. It's 8 a.m. here, so
Good.
It's early.
Good. So I just got turned on to your podcast, and I've been listening to every one of them. You have like 500.
Yeah, I have so
and
many.
I was like, it'll take me about a year to get through it. So, but nonetheless, yeah, I wish you could talk back to some of these things about, the conversations you have with other folks about what's happening. But go ahead.
Well, I'm wondering when that was coming up, because there's like several times that I know that me and the comic are saying something stupid, and I'm just like assuming listeners are just like, well, obviously not.
Yeah, I find myself talking to the TV as well, or to my computer. Right. But have you read my latest story that I gave you?
Well, no. So with these minisodes, I don't actually read the stories. So I have an assistant who reads it and approves it, but I have no idea what your story is. So I'm excited.
Oh, yeah. So am I. I wanted to check with you to see if the audio is okay, because sometimes people call in and the phone is echoing so much that you can't understand what they're saying.
Yeah, it's really not so bad. Okay? No, yeah, I got you.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Good. Okay, great. Okay, well, let's see. Where can I start? All my life I experienced paranormal activity around me. Didn't really give it much thought. Put everything to the back burner because, I didn't want to seem crazy or whatever. And
sure.
The big ghost hunting trend didn't hit until a few years ago, so I wasn't involved in anything like that. But I attended this restaurant in Harmony, PA, and it had a history. I didn't know it until I was actually sitting at the restaurant itself. It used to be an old house. It was owned by the Ziegler family, and it was about 1856 where he sold it off. But he was a mill worker, kind of one of the upstanding people of the town. Now, just to give you a picture, Harmony, PA is nothing but one street, and that's it.
Wow.
You've got your businesses on there. You could actually walk from one site to the other, and that's exactly what we did. But to back up, I was sitting at the restaurant, and somebody had said this place is haunted, and I was like, oh, that's very interesting, and I asked the owner if I could, take a look around just out of curiosity, and she said, sure, go ahead. She says, I'll show you where the attic door is, and she took me upstairs, and she opened the attic door, and I happen to have, I'm sort of an amateur photographer as well, but I was up there with my camera. I had it with me, and I took a picture of the staircase. And up at the top of the staircase, she had said that that very morning that we went to eat there, that one of the employees had gone up to the attic to get something and noticed that there were scratch marks on the wall.
Oh, God.
I sent an attachment of that picture with my latest email.
You're the best. I always want to see pictures. Awesome. Thank you.
Oh, excellent. I got 3 of them. They're really eerie. They're just so weird.
Oh, awesome.
So
we'll put them on the website.
Good, good. Please do, please do. You have all the rights.
Thank you.
You're very good. I was thinking, this is strange. Okay, it wasn't until about a year or two later that I joined a meetup group. Actually, I started a meetup group of paranormal investigators,
Mm-hmm.
and we went on 30 different investigations, and one of them was at the end because I took them back after taking that picture. I was alarmed. Well, took them back, found out it had closed due to renovations without any notification, and everybody was really disappointed. I says, well, don't get too discouraged. We'll go down to the Mennonite Cemetery, which is about 2 blocks up. So that we did. But back to the restaurant of the very first time I was there, after taking the pictures, I was walking out of the house on the walkway that goes 3 steps into the street. I walked to the top of the steps, and the steps just disappeared. Just completely disappeared on a material level. I fell to my knees trying to take the next step. Fell to my knees. We got up. I was like, oh my goodness, what the heck?
Yeah.
What happened there? And everybody was worried. Why did they were worried that I fell. I said, I'm okay. The food went everywhere. I had this doggy bag. It just went.
Yeah.
So it's kind of funny. I just got up and brushed myself off. But I took a picture. I think I'm not sure if it was before or after the incident. And I sent a photo of 2 misty apparitions at the end of the walkway that you can see. They look like they're sitting.
Huh.
You can't make out any detail, but it looks like two persons sitting there floating above the stairway. Very weird. So that was one incident. I had also taken
You said, wait, when
at a later date.
When the stairway disappeared, that's like blowing my mind. So you were like walking up the stairs, and as you went to take another
Down
step.
the stairs.
Oh, down the stairs. And as you went to take another step, they just completely disappeared?
It was like it was falling into an abyss.
Yeah.
It was like there was no material matter below my feet.
Weird.
It just disappeared. It was the very first step that I took. And it was mind-boggling because I felt afterwards kind of sick, Maybe it was the incident that took place that made me that way, but I'm not usually a squeamish person. So,
right.
But when I fell, I was like, I don't know whether it was before or after, but I took the picture, and you'll see for yourself that it's just kind of off kilter because there was no mist that night. There was no humidity, no fog, nothing.
Right.
So you'll see those 2 apparitions.
Cool.
Nonetheless, I took my team to the Mennonite Cemetery, and everybody was out doing their thing, and I took a picture. But the thing about the Mennonite Cemetery is they didn't bury their people with headstones. For some reason, that was a sign of vanity. That they buried everyone without them, but they put a great big stone wall around the cemetery. It could have been about 300 feet across, it wasn't that big. Stone cemetery with a great big iron gate, keep out kind of ambience. So I took pictures. I was taking pictures all over the place. Of course, I've got thousands of orbs because I have this tendency that I found out when I did the investigations to attract that kind of thing in my pictures. No one else would be able to get it. I even switched cameras to see if it maybe was a glitch with the camera.
Right.
No, I see orbs all the time. They're attracted to me. I took this picture of a thing. I don't know what it was. Couldn't make any sense out of it by looking at it. It looks like a bended knee with some sort of swirly thing at the end. It's just very strange. You'll see. Nonetheless, I went from taking that picture and wanting to find out what this was. what was going on, I was on Shadowland, and I got to talking. I put the picture online and asked anybody to give me their opinion of it. This one woman had responded. She said, it's interesting. She says, I have a picture of the same creature
What?
in one of my photos. And get this, she was from Utah. Just keep that in the back of your mind when I tell you the rest of the story. Okay, so she looks at it. She showed me the photo, and it was the exact same creature. Exactly. That was disturbing enough.
Right.
But I started to dig in the history of the restaurant that I was at in Harmony. I started digging into history. Here I find out that Joseph Smith, who is one of the founders of the Mormon Church,
right,
the Latter-day Saints, had lived in the same town, had actually taken the scrolls or tablets, whatever they called them, that he had been given to by an archangel in New York. Supposedly, they say in their book that it was an angel, but from later accounts, Joseph Smith had contacted UFOs, supposedly.
Mm-hmm.
And that's part of their doctrine, in the Mormon Church.
Right.
They do believe in extraterrestrials.
Yeah.
So I found out about Joseph Smith and his wife Emma. They were in town. He was in town for one purpose only. He was traveling from New York to wherever. But he was in town for one reason only, to meet with a scribe that could decipher the tablets that he got from New York. Now, that's a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
That's a really big deal to be happening in this tiny little town. Anyways, funny thing about all of this and the connection with the Mormon Church and with Joseph Smith and everything, I don't know why I was drawn to this area, and I took my team there and everything. But here, I had spent previous 10 years in my life in Utah, in Salt Lake City, north of Salt Lake City, south of Salt Lake City. I lived all around the Four Corners. I just loved the place. And I never became a Mormon. I understood the church and the doctrine and everything, but I never became a Mormon. But to connect Harmony, PA with Joseph Smith, after just been back from Utah in about a year, and to have this woman send me a picture of the same creature from Utah.
Right.
Do you understand that everything is like, it connects, but I can't really understand why. So that's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
That's crazy. So it's like you saw the same creature in Pennsylvania that she saw in Utah. Do you think it followed you from Utah? Is that what you're suggesting?
That's what I don't know. I wonder if that's the case, or if I was compelled to go to this restaurant or be there so many times, to
right? Yeah.
investigate, or
maybe that's
go to the Mennonite.
So
go ahead.
The weird thing about this creature is it sounds like it to me from hearing your story. Tell me if I'm totally wrong, but I'm getting the idea that this is a mixture between almost like a ghost and an alien. Like it's like a creature that you couldn't see with your bare eye until you took a photo, but you both had a photo of it.
Absolutely.
And it's interesting.
Yep.
That's fascinating.
And she did know. She was camping south of Salt Lake City. She said when she took this photo, she doesn't exactly know where it was, but that's what she said. And to actually kind of bring the two together, them being sort of alien-like and ghost-like at the same time, I'm thinking it's just an interdimensional creature. You know what I mean?
Right.
That makes more sense to me than something, ghost-like or whatever. And actually, you spoke with this one woman, I can't remember where she was from, but she had an experience, and you guys were talking about quantum theory and string theory and how that fits into it.
Cool.
And, the more I learn about M theory and string theory, I find out that, this may be that there are clashes between this dimension and another at certain times. Like the fabric moves and it touches
Right.
certain points, and you're at the same point when it's happening. It could, explain what the randomness of it all is.
Totally. Well, yeah, that's totally what I was thinking too. And in a sense, it almost just makes more sense. Like you guys both just happened to take a picture of this creature that could just be all over the place that, isn't even that big of a deal. You guys just both happen to capture it. But it just captures our imaginations as well because it's just something we're not familiar with, That's awesome.
Yep.
And is that's
just one of...
That photo, I'm sorry, I'm like so fascinated with this like alien creature thing. Is that photo included in the email that you sent Laughing in the Dark?
It most certainly is, hon. Yep.
It is.
You can rip it apart. It's a
well,
authentic photo.
I'm gonna put that on the Instagram for this episode, for this minisode when it comes out, because I would be curious to see how many listeners are gonna be like, oh, I've seen that thing. You know what I mean? Because if you can actually see the picture, I'm sure like multiple people might be like, oh my God, I've seen that.
Absolutely. That's why I changed my story. My initial story was about camping in the Ashley Forest in Utah and having an experience that just blew my mind. So it blew my mind so much that I could not talk about it afterwards.
Wow.
It was like I was in spiritual shock.
What can I ask what happened?
Oh, certainly. This is a short story. Went camping with a friend in the Ashley National Forest, which is about 30 miles north of Skinwalker Ranch. Not knowing anything about Skinwalker Ranch, heard some things about it, but really didn't give it any thought. So I'm camping. I go down to take a tinkle. It was about dusk. And we're way in there. There's nobody around for miles. And I'm walking down the hill after taking a tinkle and coming back up. And I look down at this bush. And the bush had two red eyes in the center of it looking up at me. And I thought, oh, it's an animal, And I moved closer to take a look at to see what kind of animal it was. And there was nothing behind the eyes.
Oh, weird.
Nothing. Just two eyes looking at me. And to make it even eerier, it followed me. The eyes followed me up the hill.
They
God.
moved, like you looked, like you...
They moved to watch me walk up the hill. I could see the image. If it was facing the way I was when I first noticed it, you wouldn't be able to see it because it would be facing a different direction.
Right.
Walking up the hill, I didn't mention it to my friend. I didn't mention it when I got home. It was like at work one day. All of a sudden, it rushed at me, this memory, and I was like, holy heck, what happened there?
Yeah.
It was like my mind totally denied that it happened.
Yeah.
So that changed me. After that, I was like, you're not safe anywhere.
Thank you for your call, Kat. It was so great talking to you. Thanks for being on the show. If you have a ghost story, we want to hear from you. Email us at litdarkpodcast@gmail.com. Tell us all about your ghost story, and we may choose you to feature you on the show. As always, thanks so much for listening. I'll see you next time right here on Laughing in the Dark. Laughing in the Dark is brought to you in part by Heck Yeah Studio. Heck Yeah Studio is a creative effort working with people to create meaningful things. At Heck Yeah Studio, they work with clients to turn their ideas or existing brands into real or better versions. Heck Yeah Studio is the place to go for custom illustration for a full range of branding services, like killer logos, great colors and typography, and fun illustrations for pins, signs, prints, shirts, vehicles, posters, or anything you can imagine. At Heck Yeah Studio, they work with love. Their dream client is someone who is passionate about what they do. At Laughing in the Dark, Heck Yeah Studio has designed our logo, all of our merch, and any posters or stickers that we have. I am so proud and lucky to work with such an awesome company, and I could not recommend them higher.
Studios.